Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Today. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Special guest Crystal Paine with us today. And this is an unbelievable story, guys. First of all, she's got a new book out called Time Saving Mom: How to Juggle a Lot, Enjoy Your Life, and Accomplish What Matters Most. A mother of six, a wife of one, and an author, speaker, podcaster, and you should be taking a nap, Crystal, shouldn't you?
She does it all.
I do not do it all, but I do a lot. And I try to do, really focus on doing a few things well.
Yeah.
Well, six kids. And as you said, you're potty training children and visiting colleges. But you've figured out somehow how to enjoy life and not be overstressed. Now, every mother and dad should be listening right now and want to check out your book. So how did this all begin? How did you figure this out?
Well, it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of mostly error. But I started blogging on moneysavingmom.com years ago, like way before there was even social media. I started blogging in 2004, 2005, started moneysavingmom.com in 2007. And I was just encouraging people to use their finances intentionally. And the thing that I quickly realized is a lot of people were saying, well, we want to get our money in order, but we just need to get our life in order. Like, we don't have time to figure out how to get out of debt or save money because we're just drowning. And so I started talking some then about living intentionally, because it's something that I have always been passionate about and just wanting to use my days well. And fast forward years later, and now I have a book.
Now you have a book. So we've learned money saving, now time saving. Now time, to me, is so much more valuable than money. And the older I get, the more valuable it gets. But you have a four-step, easy to implement four-step system to organize and simplify your life. So kind of go over that. You don't have to reveal all four of them because we want people to read the book, obviously, but kind of talk about how this came about.
Yes. So my first step is just pray. And it seems so simple. And yet so often I feel like people are like, but how do I actually live my life in prayer, like in reliance upon God? And this is something that I have learned so much in the last few years. We're foster parents, and we brought home two babies, and then also I birthed two babies. So we have brought home four babies in the last 2.5 years, and one who has some significant special needs, Down syndrome and a cleft lip palate and feeding tube and medical complexities. And so I have had to just really learn what it looks like to rely upon God, because I can't do all of this in my own strength. Like, I'm not enough in and of my own strength. And so in the book, I really talk about what that looks like to start our day from the posture of prayer, because I feel like we can, put all of these good systems in place, but if we don't have the foundation of Jesus and of looking to him and of recognizing that we don't need to micromanage all the facets of our life, when we look to him and when we ask him to go before us and we release our worries and our burdens to him, it just gives us so much peace. And so we can have calm in our heart, even if there isn't calm in our life, because of Jesus. So starting from that. And then the second step is to prioritize. And I talk in the book about my 6x2 priority system, which is that I have two hands, so I can hold two things at once. And so I only focus on two priorities per day, and then I rotate the priorities that I focus on. So over the course of a week, I have spent intentional time in each priority area, usually at least twice. And then the third step is to plan. And I talk about my Google Calendar and my time block to-do list and this hybrid system, and how this really helps me to kind of dump everything out of my brain so that I don't have to have all these ideas swirling around, constantly weighing me down, but I have a plan and I just follow that plan, and how that just makes my life so much simpler and calmer. And then the fourth step is to prep. And in the book, I talk about it's not only about prepping your space, it's also about prepping your mindset, and how so often we hold ourselves back because of false beliefs or just a negative mindset.
Crystal Paine with us, Time Saving Mom: How to Juggle a Lot, Enjoy Your Life, and Accomplish What Matters Most. With everything that you have in place and in order, then when you have downtime, I hope you have some time, relaxing time. Does that keep you from worrying about the stuff that you really need to do later, since you have everything in place?
Yes, and just to be clear, it's not like my life is perfect. Let's make that really clear. There are a lot of interruptions. There are a lot of days when things don't go at all like I planned. But one of the things that I found to be so helpful, I talked about my time block to-do list. This is like my budget for my time. When you have a budget for your money, it feels like your money goes so much further. Like you're just so much more intentional with it. It feels like you have more of it. Same with your time. If you are intentional with your time, if you're pre-deciding how you're going to spend your time, then I actually am able to pad in breathing room in my day. And also, I plan 2 to 4 hours of nothing in my day so that when those interruptions come, I'm able to address them. That child needs something, that teenager needs to talk, that friend is struggling. I have the space for that because I planned for that. It's kind of like how we have a blow category for our budget where it's just money that we can spend on whatever we want to spend it on.
Yeah.
Same with our time. And this really helps me so that I'm able to go throughout my days with a plan, but the plan that has flexibility for the unexpected.
Love that.
So we're allowed to do nothing during the day? Is that actually possible? I thought we had to fill our day every minute of the day with something going on. That's awesome. Also, you've got time-saving hacks. Now, this may be part of what you were just talking about to help you be able to pursue the things that you really want to do in life. Kind of touch on those.
Yes. So I think one of the things for me is really having that perspective that thinks long term. And so instead of just living today, so often we get stuck in the weeds. Like I'm worrying about some tiny little thing that if I look in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter. But it takes so much of my time and my life and my energy because I'm kind of just stuck down there in that. So if we can zoom out and really think of what's going to matter in 10 years from now? What's going to matter in 25 years from now? That changes our perspective because then we're able to stop psychoanalyzing and micromanaging and worrying so much about these little things that aren't truly going to matter in 10 or 25 years from now. And we can focus our time and our energy around those things. For me, that is the people in my life. So my house is never completely clean. I mean, that just basically never happens. But I want to have my heart open and have space for that teen who walks in the door who just needs to have a conversation, or that child that just needs me to hold them, or that friend that just needs me to drop everything and go be with her. So having that eternal perspective and that perspective that thinks of what is truly going to matter allows me to be like, you know what? I'll get to cleaning up my bedroom tomorrow because this is what is most important.
Yeah, good stuff.
Time-saving mom, how to juggle a lot, enjoy your life, and accomplish what matters most. Time-saving mom, I'll bet time-saving dads could really get a lot out of this book as well, right? MoneySavingMom.com to find out more. I know this has been out since December of 22. What have you heard? Is there a story that you have of somebody that has actually read it and started to implement it that this just really maybe either touched you or you're like, wow, they're getting it. They're getting it.
So just last week, I got a voice message from someone on Instagram, and she said, Crystal, I read your book and it changed me in a way that I didn't expect. She said, for so long, I have just been saying, I don't have time for this. One of the things was, I don't have time for friendship. And she said, your book really challenged me to think about time in a different way. Instead of what I don't have, to focus on what I do have. Because that's one thing I talk about is so often we, say, I can't do that, instead of asking, what can I do? And so she was saying a friend had reached out to her last week and wanted to get together with her. And she immediately just kind of went to that default of, I don't have time. Like, my day is really full. And then she actually looked at her day and she realized she was getting ready to, that evening, she was going to drop her son off at his sports practice. And then she was going to go back home and her husband was going to pick him up. And she was like, I have a 70-minute window in there between when I need to drop him off and I could pick him up. And why don't I meet that friend close by where he's having his practice? And so she said, we had the best 70 minutes. And she's like, I would have felt like I don't have time for that. But I did. I just had to get creative and figure out a way to make it work with what I had. And then she said, I also ended up on the way home from a sports practice. I wanted to use that time of just sitting in the car with him. And she said, we had the best conversation. And so that's one thing I just really try to encourage you to focus on what you do have, what's in front of you, what do you have available? Maybe it's only 5 minutes. Maybe it's only 1 minute. I talk about in the book what you can actually do in in 5 minutes when it comes to investing in someone else. Even in 1 minute, you can send a text, you can say an encouraging word, you can reach out and ask how someone is doing. And those little things, they add up and they matter. So stop saying, I can't do that, and instead say, what can I do?
Crystal, real quick, before we have to take a break here, as you wrote this book, I know God uses these times in our lives to teach us things. What did God teach you personally as you were writing this book?
So this book ended up being written in a very unexpected season. We were, like I said, we're foster parents. And so we had 4 children, and we were fostering sweet little David, who has the medical complexities. And he was actually going to be moving to another home, that they were going to be adopting him. And so I thought that, oh, this is going to be great, because then, we're going to miss him. But that was what we felt like was best for him. And so we're going to then, my schedule is going to have a little bit more space so that I can write this book. Well, shortly after starting to write this book, that adoption situation just was made very evident to that family that this wasn't the right thing. And they actually came to us and they said, we feel like your family is called to adopt him. And we were like, whoa, that was not even something that we ever had. It wasn't on our radar. Like, it wasn't something that was even really that we had spent a lot of time thinking about. And because there was just this was the plan all along. And so we started just really praying and just really praying and seeking the Lord. And within 5 days, every single one of us had just complete peace that this is what God was calling us to. And so we said yes to adopting him. And so then he stayed in our home. We got to adopt him in December of 2022. But 4 weeks later, found out that I was expecting, which was completely unexpected as well. And so I wrote this book in the middle of having 3 teenagers and 2 toddlers and morning, noon, and night sickness, and got to really become a case study. Do these principles and practices actually work when it's a really unexpected season?
Yeah. Wow.
So good. Crystal Paine, new book, Time Saving Mom, How to Juggle a Lot, Enjoy Your Life, and Accomplish What Matters Most. Go to moneysavingmom.com. What a delight you are, Crystal. Thank you for doing what you do. We'd love to get you back in a few months and see what's going on with you. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Today.